was born in the summer of 1976, 2 years before Jason. But it always felt like more than that gap. He saw the world in motion, swinging first, asking questions later. I saw it in stillness, taking things apart to see why they moved. Sixth grade in middle school, middle of fall, late 1980s. The school got its first computer lab, 3 Apple units tucked behind the library, their beige cases humming like trapped bees. We got 20 minutes a week. Most kids played Oregon Trail or chased pixels. I asked Miss Vaughn if I could look at the basic programming manual. She laughed, then handed it over. Back then, code wasn't abstract, it was physical. We used graph paper, quarter-inch grids to map out programs before typing them, and each square held one command: 10 print hello, 20 go to 10 to draw a picture. You plotted every pixel like a battleship grid. I wanted to make a duck, not just a static image. I wanted it to be animated, so I sketched it on graph paper. A simple oval body, triangular beak, 2 circular eyes. Then I translated it, I wrote the loop, and then I ran it. The duck appeared blocky but unmistakable. Then I tried to make the eyes blink. I added a timer loop. It almost worked, but the delay loops were uneven, too short on the erase phase. Instead of a smooth blink, the eyes stuttered, a rapid flash of darkness then light. Miss Vaughn peered over my shoulder. That's not a blink, Jeremy, that's a strobe. I was upset. I spent hours on the living room floor writing the code over and over until the pages blurred together. I checked every line and I checked it again. I even had Miss Vaughn go through it with me. Nothing was wrong, but it still wouldn't work. Years later is when I realized the truth. The loops were clean, the logic was solid. The problem wasn't the code, the problem was time. I didn't know it then, but that flash held a seed, emergent behavior from imperfect timing, a system doing something not in its instructions because of how its parts interacted. I wasn't popular, but I wasn't invisible either. People noticed me for 2 things: playing football in my car, then back and laugh. What a memory. I played football, not because I loved the glory, but because I loved pushing myself physically and mentally, watching the players' movements, the quarterback's shoulders, the tell before the motion. It was pattern recognition in real time. I won't ever forget one game when me and Jason played against Brownsville. There was this tall dude on the opposing team, number 37, who blindsided Jason and hit him pretty damn hard and knocked him down. So me and Jason talked and came up with a plan. On our next kickoff, we were gonna run a cross-X pattern, and I was gonna run directly for number 37. Well, our team kicked the ball, Jason on one side and me on the other. We crossed each other midfield while our team followed the ball. My sight was on number 37. In that moment, all I could think of was knocking his ass to the dirt. Boom! I nailed his ass. Square, clean, precise, no blind side, just a straight on concentrated. Hit the hit level number 37 and knocked him flat on his back in the middle of the field. I stood right over him while he lay there and said, "Don't you ever mess with the young brothers." It's something I won't ever forget, something I never talked about again until this moment. I know Jason remembers. It was one of many times we were always looking out for one another. My 1989 Formula 350 Firebird was where my passion for cars came from. I bought it from my granddad. It was a cool car and technology for its time. That old tune port injection would run its butt off after watching my dad put a water pump on it. For me, it was my classroom. It was the first car I ever worked on. I laugh thinking back, because he put a small dent on both side fenders, Gurney install where his knees were. He bought the small toolbox and the tools to fix it. I still have the tools and toolbox today. Over time, I didn't just want it to run, I wanted to know why and how it ran and how to make it faster. I began reading every magazine I could, and that was when I started to modify the engine, talk about fun. I love the way that supercharger sounded and how it made the old Formula 350 Firebird fly. Being young back in the early 90s, the majority of people had the 5.0 Mustangs. My car was the oddball, but it was a monster with forced induction. My personal saying when I was around the Mustang crowd was, "Mustangs can run, but birds can fly." Not sure how many got it, but it always had a deeper meaning than what was on the surface. Dad got his 1979 Chevy loving me. Jason and Dad worked on it together. Man, I miss those days. I miss my pops.